All right, you're welcome once again to my channel. Of course, my name is MOSJARO, critically acclaimed MOSJARO. Of course, you know how we used to do it in this channel, trying to analyze some basic questions, not just looking at the questions, obviously looking at how the answer is like that and looking at each of the options. So it's not about the questions alone. Please pay attention to the point as I drop the questions. And again, if you know you have not subscribed to the channel as you watch the video, do it to subscribe and on the notification button so that you get to see videos like this each time I upload them. Quickly, let's jump into it. Of course, you're surprised I'm holding a metal. Yeah, the question we're talking about is coming from the aspect of what metals and their compound. Of course, is one important topic that students should look at for those of us preparing for UTME and SSC examination. Quickly, let's jump into it as usual. Now, look at this question here. Is chemistry definitely? Now, they said which of the following colors is imparted by calcium ion to a flame? Now, let's begin to break them down back to back as you usually do it. Now, talking about flame is a region where gases combine together chemically. So we need to know what a flame is. First of all, flame is a region where gases combine what chemically. Now, there are two types of flame. We have what we call the luminous flame, and of course number two, we have the non-luminous flame. Now, it is the non-luminous flame that's particularly used for the flame test. Now, examples of substances that give out luminous flame, we have the candle flame. Definitely, the candle flame is an example of a luminous flame, and the candle flame have four zones. So the zone in the luminous flame is more than the zones in the non-luminous flame. Now, we need to look at all these points little by little, not just jumping to the questions but analyzing the points, so that if you get to come across questions like this, you can kill it, you can get back to it. Now, look at it now. We said there are two types of flame. We have the luminous flame and non-luminous flame. Now, examples of non-luminous flame, we have the hydrogen flame. Now, there's a device that can produce both a luminous flame and a non-luminous flame in the laboratory, and that device is the Bunsen burner. So the Bunsen burner can produce both a luminous flame and a non-luminous flame. Bro, that is not what we are looking at according to the question, but we need to analyze it step by step. We need to look at it so that in case you come across, so the target is, if you come across questions like this, how do you get to analyze it? Now, look at it now. They said, and again, talking about the flame test, please take notes of something, that the flame test is used to test for the presence of metallic ions. Used to test for the presence of metallic ion, because when you subject metallic ion or metals to flame, they bring out characteristics color that is particular for that particular metal. So we can use such tests to identify the presence of those metals in a solution. Now, there is a wire that is commonly used in the flame test, and that wire is the platinum wire is commonly used. Be very careful with this question. Why is the platinum wire commonly used in flame test? Because the platinum wire is highly chemically inert. It's unreactive, so that it will not obstruct the result that you are going to get in the flame test. Now, look at two things. The non-luminous flame is commonly used in the flame test. And what's the flame test? The flame test is to test for the presence of metallic ions, because different metals produce a characteristic color that is particular to them. Therefore, we can use that to identify them. Quickly, let's come back to our question. But remember that different metals produce different color, but this time around they're asking us for calcium ion. Now, please take note that calcium ion gives a brick red coloration to the flame test. Either you say brick red or you say orange red. So our answer here obviously is D. So either you say brick red or orange red coloration. So they can say which of the following metallic ion give an orange red or a brick red coloration to the flame test. Our answer would be calcium ion. But there's one thing you must pay attention to. If that brick red or orange red coloration is viewed through a blue glass rather, there's one question that comes out in the examination. They said, if the brick red coloration of calcium is viewed through a blue glass, which color will you see? Now, if this brick red coloration is viewed through a blue glass, it appears It appears green. So you have to be very wise. So if the brick red coloration is viewed through a blue glass, it appears green. So let's begin to analyze other colors and which metal gives out those colors. Now, for instance, we'll check them now. See this guy now, lilac. Now, potassium gives a lilac coloration. Potassium gives a lilac coloration. We must analyze it. Made us 34 for there. Now, potassium gives a lilac coloration to the flame test. Now, you begin to ask me, MOSJARO, now Who gives it what? A yellow coloration. It's actually a golden yellow coloration. Now, sodium gives a what? A golden yellow coloration to a flame test. Sodium gives a golden yellow coloration. Now, if this golden yellow coloration is viewed through a blue glass, just like we said that if we view calcium ion, the color through a blue glass appears green. Now, if I view this through a blue glass, it appears what? It appears colorless. But if that lilac coloration produced by potassium is viewed through a blue glass, it appears what? Crimson. So you have to be very careful. So if I view this golden yellow coloration through a blue glass, it appears what? Colorless. But if I view this through a blue glass, it appears what? It appears crimson. So we have to know that. Now, which metallic ion gives a what? A blue coloration to the flame test? Is what? Now look at this. Look at this. Barium gives a pale green coloration. Copper gives a pale blue coloration rather. Copper gives a barium gives a pale blue coloration, while copper gives a bluish green. I will take that again. Now, barium, the element barium gives a what? A pale blue coloration, while copper gives a what? Gives a bluish green coloration. So we have to be very careful with this kind of question, but we're getting our answer already. Calcium gives a what? A brick red or orange red coloration. Now if I view that through a blue glass, it appears what? Green. Potassium gives a lilac coloration. If I view through a blue glass, it appears crimson. Sodium gives a golden yellow coloration. When viewed through a blue glass, it appears what? Colorless. Now, back to back short videos that can help you out in your examination. Do well to subscribe, and of course do well to what? To recommend or share to your friends or those persons that are preparing for examination. Quickly, that MOSJARO is here with you to make chemistry and biology well simplified and straight to the point. You can use this to pass your exam. Now, in case you are looking for where you can get questions like this at this explained, you can find it in the where? In the effective compendium. Very, very important. Effective compendium. You can find it in bookshop, or you can DM me. Anywhere you are in Nigeria, you can have a copy for yourself. So please always watch out for my videos. They're usually short and precise. I'll see you in my next video. Ciao.